For your destination, it is on the right.
Okay guys, this is where our GPS took us to say that we're at our hotel. Now one place here.
Bring him the blood of the Outlander!
We're here in Casey. We ran into some of the locals here. This is
Levi.
Levi. He's got some stories of Ashmore Estates. What have you heard on it?
Well, back when I went to Eastern, we had a couple events actually at Ashmore, and the first time we were ever there, it was some kind of a barn dance type of an event, and it was pretty cool to be in an area that we heard was haunted. Later on towards the night, we decided to go inside the building and go downstairs where they said it was a crematorium apparently. And we saw writings on the wall, what looked like to be scratches, and we couldn't tell if they were original or if locals came through, but it was definitely a weird, eerie feeling. A couple of days after the event, when a lot of the girls were starting to post pictures of all the events, started noticing some strange things in the film. It wasn't orbs, it was apparitions and something in the corner of the actual picture. It didn't look right. It almost looked like the pictures were distorted. The interesting thing was that it was digital and the regular like developed cameras, like those instant cameras. It didn't matter. They both had a weird kind of like almost like a vignette around the corners. It was really weird. So we never knew what it was, but it was definitely kind of an eerie feeling.
So you grew up around this all your life, right?
Well, I came out here for school. I went out to Eastern, back in 2004, 2009, around then, and we had heard some of the stories, but that was the first opportunity we had to be out there. It was interesting.
Y'all should come out and join us, man.
Definitely.
Because we'll be probably out there, we're going out there as soon as we leave here, and hopefully get a little bit of shots before it gets dark on us. Drive back and eat, and we're coming back. So
we might. We're heading into town to visit some friends, and we might catch up later on.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much. Take care. See you guys.
Hi guys, I'm Doyle with Southern Paranormal. Tonight we are at another haunted location. This one is legendary. This one is another bucket list. We're at Ashmore Estates in Ashmore, Illinois. This place is legendary among ghost hunters. There has been ghost adventures and ghost hunters have been to this location, and both are catching major amounts of activity in this location. We're fixing to go in and we're going to talk with Michelle, which is the local historian here, and she's going to give us a tour around this place. And from what she's telling us, we're not going to be disappointed, and we're eager to get in and get started. Let's go. We're in Ashmore Estates, guys. And this is Michelle Baker. She is the local historian here, and she's going to tell us all about this place, the hauntings, everything that we want to hear. Where are we standing at now?
We're standing in the addition to the building that was built in 1977. It was built when the building was used as a developmentally disabled home, and it was basically built. I wouldn't sit on it unless you've had your tetanus shot. It does work. For crank the head up, crank the feet up. 10 years before.
Now let me ask you this.
This is where the shadows painted on the wall. But if you drive up to Ashmore or see a picture, it's the big block on the end of the pretty building.
Oh, okay.
We sat empty for 19 years, and this building was just ravaged by teenagers or people who were bored or junkies who were looking for something to sell. We didn't have any windows, we didn't have any copper, most of the pipes are gone, all of the electrics out of the
A lot of
elevator.
vandalism.
Lots. Walls kicked in, you name it. Graffiti everywhere. And that's, that's what happened when you sit for 19 years. And I mean, there were bad kids. I'm not saying I know anybody that did it, but
Yeah, right.
we broke in and got scared and ran away. But, that's what you did out here when you were a kid.
That's not a whole lot of things to do
No.
in this area that we've
It's,
seen anyway.
It's this sort of things we shouldn't talk about. So.
I saw some of these things on the wall right here. Those are just.
I don't know where
Okay.
I got those.
Oh,
I
okay.
really don't.
I
They
was just
showed up
checking.
one day.
Who did a lot of the graffiti?
Now that piece back there was done by the gentleman that does our shirts. His name is Brandon Stevens. He works for Gavina Graphics in Charleston. And
Good plug.
he did that mural of the gentleman who owned it when the tornado hit and his son.
It's been hit twice, right?
Yeah, it's been hit twice.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
The tornado
that's
hit
true.
the same building twice.
It hit y'all bad,
The
a year
first
ago,
time.
right?
Well, the first time was worse, but the second time was more devastating to me. The first time, we had a metal roof, a pitched metal roof, big red, it was beautiful, dormers, and it was January, and we had this horrible storm blow through, ice and wind and tornadoes in January.
Yeah.
And I got a call from the owner's wife, and she says, Michelle, it's all gone, everything's gone. The first tornado happened in January of 2013, I believe. Is that right? I think that's right. And it took off our roof, and it ruined our dormers, and it ruined the two front porches. In fact, all that metal pitched roof came up and slid down the front of the building. So we lost some brickwork, we lost a lot of limestone, but the owners at that point decided it was too much for them. They couldn't do it anymore. And then last year, after Robin bought the building, he had replaced the roof on the original side already. And then in June of last year, we were hit by another tornado and it took off both roofs. So we had to redo both roofs. So he's put 3 roofs on this building.
I got a question. Now, has all the owners, have they believed in the paranormal?
No. Actually, the gentleman that, I don't know if I should say his name or not, but the gentleman that owned the haunted house does not believe in the paranormal. Never did it. He's seen things that he can't explain.
That's what I was just fixing
But
to
he
ask.
doesn't
I would
believe in the
love to
paranormal.
see, the skeptics are the ones that we love to bring with us or
Yeah.
find out more about it. And for an owner to be a skeptic, that really,
He really was, him and his wife both. But they would both say, I don't really like to go into that room, or I don't really want to go up that set of stairs.
but they wouldn't explain why.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
But you knew what it was.
Yeah.
So what have we got down here?
Well, if we go through this doorway, we'll be on the original site at the end.
So what we got over here?
So once we go through this doorway, we are on the original side of the building. This side of the building was built in 1916 as a poor farm. A poor farm would have been for anybody who was disabled, mentally or physically, orphans, widows, anybody who couldn't take care of themselves was sentenced to be here.
Down this way?
Yeah,
Okay.
Breadgiver might have been,
I'm sorry.
a breadwinner of the family may have been killed.
Right. One of the more famous stories in this building is about a little girl who lost her daddy in the war. And she ended up here with her mother and brother and sister. Her name was Elva Skinner. Elva Luda.
Third floor though, right?
All over.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was that where what we had heard was that she was burned to death on the third
Yes,
floor?
she caught her clothes on fire in the original building, not this one.
The same area, same grounds,
Right,
proximity.
right. We think the building was right exactly where this one was.
So it still could be a proximity home.
Right. And she wasn't feeling well and got up late to go to breakfast. She went to get dressed by the fire because it was cold. She caught her dress on fire and she burned to death in her own clothes.
And where did this happen?
In the original
Oh.
poor farm, not this building, but the one that was here before.
Oh, okay.
So, and she was 2 weeks from her 5th birthday.
Wow. So they rebuilt right after that happened?
No, because the building didn't burn.
Oh, okay.
People continue to live in it, but that building was described as vermin infested and urine soaked and falling, a pit.
Is there a possibility that there's correlations with that building previous that was on here, that's why so much paranormal activity is happening to this new building because of what was built on the previous building?
I think that
Or what
anything is
happened?
possible. I think anything is possible.
Right.
But if you look at Ashmore's history, we've had a lot of poor and unwanted, mentally handicapped, mentally ill. I think that breeds a lot right there, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, and probably have accidental deaths and stuff like that.
We have about 200, I think,
Wow.
associated with the
And where did they bury these people?
Well, there is a poor farm cemetery. I've never been there because it is surrounded by personal property, and the gentleman that owns it doesn't like us to go back there. I don't even know if there's much left of it. When we go up to second floor, there's a banner that shows the graves that were there.
Oh, really?
Julie Velasquez, she's a wonderful lady, documented it for us years ago.
Wonderful.
So I've never seen it. I can't tell you where it's at. That's the only place I know that they're buried. But I know that Elva is actually buried in the little town of Ashmore. She has a very nice grave marker because her mother got remarried 2 weeks after she died to get her brother and sister out.
So there's confirmed 200 deaths. So basically, is it the new building or the old building that had these deaths?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that has a lot to. I bet that's makes things active too. I mean, having a lot of. Because back in those days, like you told me earlier, the unwanted came here. The people that had mental, physical disabilities, stuff like that.
Right.
Just something maybe simple nowadays. Schizophrenia that they couldn't treat or.
Exactly. That's a great example. There were probably a lot of schizophrenics in this building because they didn't know what it was and they didn't know how to treat it. So
Was there a lot of chaos too, like treating these people?
I can't say that for sure because
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of documents for some of the. I'm missing like 50 years worth of documents
Oh,
that
wow.
I just can't find.
Okay.
But the likelihood of that kind of thing being here, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, you can kind of feel the stew of the energy because I feel a vibe in here. Like I feel like a kind of it's like a darkness. It's like hiding something. I feel like it. I feel like something's just not right. So I think I think we're gonna find a lot of activity in here. I really do.
How much land and how many other buildings were on this property at one time?
We had, I believe, 267 acres when we were a poor farm.
Were there separate buildings?
There were, and I cannot off the top of my head grab that number. There were a lot. There were barns and pig barns and chicken houses and slaughterhouses and smokehouses.
What about residencies on the
There would have
location?
been a caretaker's house straight across from here. There was a school right behind that. And then directly across the street where that little house is
Right.
now would have been a duplex where the nurses lived.
That little house across the street is still there?
Not the same house, but.
That's where a duplex would have been. I
Yeah.
think there's one a duplex now.
No, it's not a duplex now.
Okay, so what do we got down this way? What's going on this way?
So this would have been the women and children's dining room, we believe, because the kitchen would have been right off of it, and that would have been the women's jobs. This room is especially wonderful for me because of the windows that are in here. After Robin Terry bought the building, he started taking plaster down, and well, this is a weird story, but he called me and he said, when you see it, call me, because I had a tour to do that night. And I said, what are you talking about? He's like, you'll see it, you'll see it. So I, for some reason, started backwards that night, went from third to first instead of first to third. And I got down here and I walked in and I was like, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. They're gorgeous. They're from 1916 and they haven't been touched in years. It's just amazing to me. The historian in me just, it's so cool. So, and he's preserved them, and there's more upstairs he found. They're just awesome. It's so great.
And you talking about the antiques you're talking about again? What are the antiques you're talking about again? I'm sorry.
I did not hear you.
No, you said you were talking about antiques that you felt like you really loved. What was
the windows.
Oh, the windows. Yeah, so I was about to get to that point. And the windows, they those are like 100 years old, right?
Yep,
Correct?
They're 100 years old.
Yeah, they're very old looking. I mean, they're they just have that uniqueness to them. Like, you know, that everything was built kind of different back then. But you said you found that head inside of a wall, right?
Yeah, we did. Well, I didn't.
That must have been scary fun to find that in a wall.
I don't know. I think they all laughed because, I mean, we were a haunted house. She fell on a wall.
Yeah.
She's just here now. She's just part of us.
Very unique.
She's a little weird. She's great to photograph, though.
And what we have, do you have any idea what this used to be, or?
That would have been heat.
Heat. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
That's like a radiator.
So it gets pretty cold here.
Yeah.
In the winter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This building gets super cold.
Y'all got some paranormal equipment placed in here.
Yeah, we have a IR puck. We have an IR puck on every floor. We always leave them turned on when there's somebody in the building. That way you've got light no matter what you're doing. Robin has done wonderful things.
See, we have windows here, and then they added on to this to make more room, obviously, right? Okay.
They added that on in the late 50s probably, so they
Okay.
can have a kitchen inside.
Okay, because I feel like a vibe in there. Like when I walk in there, it's a different vibe. Maybe because the light's not on, I don't know, but it just feels different there. I just can't wait to see what's going on in that room. I feel like something's pushing me in there.
There's not been a lot of people investigating there. I'd really love to see if you get anything.
Perfect. That's perfect.
We've talked about that.
Yep. All right. Let's see. So basically, we have just. Let's see.
I love all the graffiti here.
Yeah, the graffiti is awesome. So basically, this is used to be kitchen area, and then.
Well, there's another dining room on this floor, and there's also a coal storage room underneath the stairs.
Okay.
There's also a boiler room off the other dining room.
Okay.
The boiler room seems to be a hub of activity for some people. If you want to go to the other dining room, we can check it out.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, this way?
Yep.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, and this is basically just a hallway they use, okay?
The main hall on the first
Okay.
floor.
I just keep thinking of like this, like just people, you know, like the people in here walking these hallways, doing their normal thing, you know, day-to-day things that they always do. And you know, how many people they housed at one time in here?
During the Poor Farm era, it could have gone, I believe the highest number was 86, and that was just in this side of the building. So that's a lot of people.
It seemed like a lot has changed since back then. Like, it's because of the tornadoes you guys had.
Right, and it's been remodeled at least twice.
Right.
You know, they remodeled it when they added on the addition, and they remodeled it one more time after that.
So it's kind of a historic place that they don't want to get rid of. They honor it and they respect it. And the community wants it here, and
Now they do.
now they do.
Now they do.
Okay, and why is that?
Since Robin's bought the building, the opinion of it has gotten much better, much better. When it was owned by other people, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't supposed to be pretty.
When you say owned, basically vacant but not fixed up.
Right.
So you're basically honoring the people that were mentally ill and was in here for, you know, reasons that today they wouldn't be, you know, in a hospital getting help.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has a voice, even if you're not perfect.
Yeah, I can think of like, it's something, you know, I don't know, you know, I feel like I have a little sensitivity, maybe a little sensitive. I'm not sure, I'm kind of homing up on our steels, but I feel like for some reason it just keeps popping in my head. I feel like people used to get in a lot of arguments here, and maybe little scuffles used to happen. So I don't. Is there any like reported like deaths from inmates from killing, like fighting with one another and hurting each other? Or?
All I really have are census records and death records. Okay, and newspaper clippings that I've gone through on microfiche. Have you ever used microfiche? It's terrible.
What kind of newspapers do you have?
Well, we go through microfiche and go through all the newspapers that were in the area for the time that I was looking for.
So good and the bad.
Right,
You'd read
right.
about.
So I wouldn't necessarily get reports of inmates killing each other. I would get reports of inmate blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Suicide.
I'm sure that happens, but
I mean, I didn't know if there was any records or anything of it.
I can't say that for sure. Because a lot of the records during that area would say things like,
I thought I heard. Y'all heard that? Well, I thought I did. I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
it's okay, it's okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's all right. Where was I?
You're talking about the death records?
Oh, they wouldn't have said suicide. They would have said something much nicer, much prettier, much more acceptable.
What about the papers at the times? I mean, were
That's-
they?
That's where the death articles would have been, where the death announcements would have been.
I mean, there's no death records for the place.
There are some, but I'm missing years. Like, I need to go spend 6 months in Springfield and study. But I don't have the time to do that.
Exactly.
So I do what I can when I
So
can.
it's very interesting. So it's got a lot of history, very lot of history. I mean, you can tell it's old. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of like it's a mysterious place. Very mysterious.
Absolutely.
Because people. Because having a disability, I feel kind of like I would have been put in here back in the day. Maybe because. And I think that I might have a little more communication with the people that were in here that might need help, so maybe,
Absolutely.
so hopefully I can bring some of those people in that maybe have the same disabilities I had, and yeah, so I think
Could be like an empath here.
oh yeah, and I feel it, I do. I don't claim to be empath, I claim to be a little bit more sensitive than empath. But I think I have a little bit both, but I'm still learning to home into those skills. So it takes years to get that. But I do have feelings, and I just have feelings of violence here for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, I can't say, there was violence here because
Yeah.
I don't have any records.
Right.
But the chances of violence happening here
It's very
is
high.
so high.
Yeah,
It's
right.
so high. When you pack that many people in one place
Exactly. That's
that are
what
so different from one another, I
you
can't
pack two
imagine.
people in a small room, you're gonna have violence.
That's right.
It sounds like it was a hospital/prison. Like that's like
basically what it was.
Yeah.
Called
honestly.
inmates.
They
Mixing-
were called inmates.
Mhm.
But it bothers me that they were called inmates
Mhm.
because that kind of dismisses them. And for me, that's just not okay. These people were alive.
And this was in the 40s, is that?
1916, 1915.
Oh, so we go on 1916. We're going way back. Okay,
Mhm.
that's amazing. Okay, well, what we got going on in this room?
Well, this next room will be the men's dining room and the boiler room. So this room is the men's dining room and the boiler room.
Okay.
We believe it was the men's dining room because it's right next to the boiler room, and the men would have been responsible for keeping the boiler stoked and going to keep everybody warm.
Then we say men's. No women were here.
No women.
No women at
During
all.
the poor farm era, they were not supposed to. They weren't supposed to intermingle with each other.
Right.
Now, we all know that if you put that many human beings in one spot, it's going to happen.
It's inevitable, yeah.
I mean, there were births in the poor farm almost every year, so something happened. So, the women and children had their room, the men have their room. It was darker, it was danker, there was a coal burner right next to it. I can't imagine it would have been a very
Wow, that keyword,
joy place.
children. You just said children. Like how young we're talking about?
We had infants here.
Oh
That's
wow.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Poor
So you
farm
got-
could be anything.
So you
You could
got.
potentially have a toddler and a murderer staying in the same room.
That is amazing. Oh wow. Okay, that's what I'm feeling. That's the twistedness I'm feeling because I feel that it was just like everybody was just on top of each other and it was just mixed, and that's just a recipe for a disaster, I believe.
Right.
I mean, because you have violent people, you know, hurting kids probably, or you know, people wanting to hurt kids, or vice versa, or it's you know.
You know, it's really hard to say what could have happened.
Yeah,
it's
hopefully we can find
but-
some answers.
right. I
Yeah.
would love to have answers. I
Mhm.
would love to know what happened here.
Absolutely.
But I mean, with the kind of people that they would put here, it just is bound to happen.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just completely bound to happen. I can't imagine that it wouldn't have.
It's amazing how they just let that go. You know, having all three children, murderers,
Well,
you know, all
you
that
know what?
together.
Like I said earlier, the haves didn't want to see the have-nots, so you stuck them out in the middle of nowhere.
That's amazing. And you said this is the brawler room, and you
This
say
is the
you
boiler
get
room.
kind of an uneasy feeling in
This
here.
is Joe.
You know what? Everybody says it's Joe. I don't know where that started.
All right.
There's no.
Is that
I've
Kentucky
never heard
Joe too? That's the one they call Kentucky Joe? Or?
That's what Julie has started calling him. So, Kentucky Joe is what Julie called him.
Who's Julie?
Julie Velasquez, she is one of the, well, she was probably the first person to start researching this building. She was allowed in the building when it was abandoned,
All right.
and she got to do a lot of really neat things. She's a great lady. She did so much research.
Did she see the apparition of Joe? Or?
I don't know if Julie's seen it or not, to be honest with you.
There's been a lot of folks that have, though,
There
right?
have been a lot of folks that have. I'm not sure why everybody thinks he's in the boiler room. I'm not sure where that started. I don't know if that's true for me. Now, for somebody else, it could be. Do you want to hear a story, Joe?
Sure.
Is this a good time for that?
Yeah, we'll kind of walk over here a little bit. I want to kind of feel this area.
Okay. So Joe Bloxham was his name, and he lives in the Ford Farm, this building that we're in now. Joe was mentally handicapped. His mother was also, so I can assume that he would be pretty severe. And he would walk home to Oakland every Sunday, or every other Sunday, I can't remember. But to get home, he'd come through Charleston, through the train district. He just walked everywhere. Was coming back here one night and got sideswiped by a train. Hit him in the face, shoulder to hip.
I heard
And,
about that.
Walking.
Walking. The poor man got up and tried to walk home. This was home. So this was home for him, so he tried to walk home. Well, luckily, a kind person stopped and picked him up and brought him back to the gates. Because at that time, I guess, we had gates on the driveways. And the caretaker at that point, whose name was Harvey Regal, I believe, got him into the building and tried to get him help, and Joe passed away in this building.
Wow. When he was walking, he was in that
Yeah.
desperate need of help.
So where's these railroad tracks? That's supposed.
In Charleston?
Okay, so they're not too far from here.
Right, right.
Okay.
In fact, the railroad tracks that he walked would have run from Charleston straight up 16, which is...
How far her walk would have been far?
Oh, miles. I don't even
It's
know.
8 miles to Charleston from here.
Right, so Oakland's even further.
So he just left. He just left.
Yeah.
Just
He
left
would
and.
leave and walk to go see his sister, because that's all he had for family was a sister, I believe. And then he'd walk home later that day or the next day and
Wow.
his chores here. And I mean, Joe was here, Joe felt, the way that it's portrayed to me, they would give him jobs so that he felt important, so that he could feel useful. And so for me, personally, that's why I think he's still here. This is where he feels like he mattered.
Yeah, he was meant to be. Yeah.
Joe, we want to hear your story tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Joe, if you would like to speak to us, we'd really love to talk to you. We're going to have some devices that you can use to communicate, show yourself. So, Joe, if you're in here,
We'll be back.
we will be back for sure. So, basically, we have back here is some maybe.
That's the, that room housed all the elevator controls.
Oh,
So when we were sat empty for 19 years, people broke in and took out blocks, opened the doors to it, stole everything they could out of it.
oh, so it's elevators right there, or used to be.
Just the controls for it. The elevator is actually by the door you came in.
Oh, okay.
That's-
Oh, okay.
There's no reason to break in any building. Almost any haunted building, folks will let you in if you ask.
That's right.
You know, there's no sense in coming in a beautiful location like this and destroying it,
Absolutely.
you know.
If you want to be a board team and Jim break in, ask first and sit and do a session.
It's,
Talk to them like they're people
Just-
instead of.
Of course,
scared.
it's exactly what they were. And we've always said, like Wesley knows about Pittsburgh, Dr. Jim told us, you know, if you sit down at a table with a group of folks, do you start saying, where are you from, what's your name? And if you just start blaring out questions, or do you sit down and listen to where the conversation's going, and then blend in? And he is, that's your wheelchair, I think, wasn't it?
No,
I think it was.
no.
It was over here.
Oh, was it?
That was in my
Yeah.
wheelchair.
No, it was not your wheelchair.
I didn't move. That
I
just.
thought you,
No, I didn't move at all. Wow. Okay.
that's pretty loud.
No, it wasn't me because I was still, and then I heard something pop right over
I
there.
think we got the camera on it too.
Yeah, we got it.
We got
Absolutely.
3 recorders. Pretty, yeah. Joe?
Yeah,
Thank you,
Joe.
buddy.
Yeah,
We're
Joe,
coming
that
back
was
to talk
you.
to you, man.
Yeah, Joe, that was you. Thanks. Yeah, it's like something was thrown against the floor. It sounded like some kind of, maybe you might catch that.
We got a camera rolling over there.
Did-
We got Don rolling over here.
Joe, did you
We got
happen
one
to
of
throw a
those.
rock at us or throw something at us? You know, not just to get our attention, not at us.
Throw it at us.
Yeah, if you want to get our attention some kind of way, Joe, knock on a wall or throw something or make a noise if you can. We can listen for you. Is anyone here? Mr. Joe? We really like to hear your story. Can you maybe say hi to us or show yourself or make a noise? Can you scream? Just let us know you're here. Well, maybe later. Thank you. If you did do that earlier, we did see that. So thank you very much for doing that. We will be in here later on with different devices to use to contact with you. Thank you. If that was you, we will see. Okay.
So this is my favorite piece of graffiti in the building, and it's something that Julie Velasquez again showed me whenever she started doing this, and I think it's the coolest piece in the building, even though it's just really
Open your mind and listen.
Open your mind and listen. That's exactly what you got to do here.
And this is right here on the first level, I think, and we're supposed to go up to the second, I
Yep.
guess.
Let's
Okay,
upstairs.
let's go.
Watch the stairs.
You experienced a lot on second and third floor. Which one has been the most active, I guess?
Most, you know what? Everybody asks me that, and I don't have an answer. Because I've spent so
Oh, wow.
much time in the past 10 years in this building that I can't say for sure where the most active spot is. Pardon me. You asked me about Mary earlier.
Yeah, right.
There's a room right over here we should all check out.
Okay.
This room, you asked me
Where all
about
the chairs are.
Where all the chairs are, and I'm going to sit my butt in one. This is what everybody's always called Mary's room. Since Robin bought the building,
You okay?
yeah, it's just, rough. It happens, it passes. Since Robin bought the building, we've had psychics come through and tell us that her name wasn't Mary. It might have been Margaret, or
Right.
Margie, or something like that.
Yeah, we've read that.
I'm really out of breath.
Is it because of the steps or?
I don't know. I've never had some steps with me that bad, but I don't know.
I feel kind of stuffy when I walk in.
It's heavy.
It's a little heat in here, yeah.
It's hot in here, but yeah. So anyway, this is what Mary's room, what everybody's talked about. And my team, one night before.
Who's your team, by the way? Give them a plug.
Mid-Illinois Ghost Society is my team, where we do Central Illinois. We have members varying from absolutely not sensitive to can't walk into a building without
Really?
hearing people. Yeah.
How many members you got?
Right now we have 5.
Awesome.
So, and they're a great team. We click. So before the windows were here, my team came in one night. Mary didn't like to have this covered, or Margie, or Margaret, or whoever she is.
Right.
And we put a piece of countertop in that window, big, thick. It took 3 of us to get it in the window. And we took men's feet all night long. And about 3 o'clock in the morning, there's videos on one of our pages of this countertop lifting up and flinging itself across the room. And it landed at that point. And I've watched it a million times trying to figure out how it could have happened. And I can't explain it.
Holy shit! She was through that damn board.
And the owners tried to cover it with plywood.
Oh, okay.
The plywood would fall. We tried to cover it with tarps. The tarps would rip in half. Stuff like
So
that.
that's where we get Margaret is, she don't want anything covering this window.
Right, she has to be able to see out, whoever she is. And she was pretty special. You gotta walk around here to see it. But this is the only room in the entire building that has their own private bathroom.
Oh, really?
Yes.
The only one?
The only one in the entire building. It's,
Really?
I didn't even know this was here until Robin bought the building. Because
And
it
of
shows
course,
full
you got
stuff.
vandalism in here.
Of course, yeah. But whoever lived here was special.
Right.
A, she had her own bathroom. She didn't have to share with everybody else. B, she's right off the nurse's station.
Yeah,
She was somebody.
a level or what?
During the poor farm era, there would be no plumbing in this building. Okay? They would have had outhouses, and you would have taken a bath outside, which is wonderful, right? When we got into the psychiatric hospital, it was a Jack and Jill bathroom, so you had a room, and then in between there was a toilet and a sink and another room. So that's what they had, and then they shared a shower room and a bathroom, which I can show you. So this is the shower room for this floor. And we could have had, during the psychiatric hospital era, we could have had
So you had two.
20 people on this floor, maybe. So, that's one shower. And there
Two
would be-
showers, I get. Well, that must have been no, it's a shower here,
That's the shower. There would have been a
bathroom.
sink.
sink, okay.
This room has a bathtub, a stool, and a sink. So that's what everybody would share on this floor. You shared your bathtub with 20 other people. Sounds great, right?
Yeah.
Not to me. So as we mosey along here, you're going to see some furniture scattered here and about because Robin actually redid this room.
Yeah, light, yeah.
So Robin
Incredible.
said he was going to redo this room as a suite from the 60s. And it's beautiful, and I love it.
Yes.
He did a great job. He and Norma, his wife, have done so much work in this room, and that window above the bed is original from 1916.
Where does this look out?
It looks out to the other building. It looks straight out to the addition.
This is amazing to me.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, and you can't really see anything
No,
here.
you just see bricks. But that's another thing that earlier I was telling you that there was a banner up here with the graves on it that Julie Velasco
Right.
done. This is that. And then center there, the tall one is Elvis, and she's actually in Ashmore. So she's not in the Pauper Cemetery. She's not in the Poor Farm Cemetery.
It's amazing.
Joe should be on there.
Where's Joe?
Let me see here. I know he's on here. He is right. Joe Watson, right here. He died in 1921.
Amazing.
It is.
This is Kentucky Joe, right?
That's what he's been called.
Amazing. Hopefully we can make contact with this fellow.
I would love to know more about him. I would love to know everything about him.
We still got another floor to go, I think, don't we?
We do.
Do we have anything left on this floor?
Well, before we go to the third floor, if you look at this floor, you can see that there would have been a room right here. So there would have been a
Right.
stool right here, and a sink right here, and a bedroom here, and a bedroom here. So you're standing what the closets would have been. So
Yeah.
in the mid-90s, we had a really bad ice storm come through, and we still had a clay tile roof, and it busted the roof up and caused a lot of moisture to come in here. And these walls weren't concrete, they were just drywall. So they crumbled.
Right.
So when the former owners bought it in 2003, 3, I think. They almost condemned the building before they could buy it because they thought the floors were soft from all the drop ceiling and the drywall wet on the floor. It was spongy when you walked on it. And I couldn't tell if the floors were spongy or if it was just crap on the floor. Luckily, they didn't. But, you know, so that's how this whole second and third floor would have been set up. There's 2 rooms and a bathroom. And you shared a bathtub and a shower room. Now, third floor has 2 shower rooms, and I have a theory about
What's off over here? Same thing?
this would have been another room, bathroom room.
Looks like a little bit larger, I guess. Well, I mean, still, I
Exactly the
guess.
same size.
Just walls, tore down, I guess.
And there you can see our wires for the cameras. They're like down on third floor too.
Okay, cool. We know where to go.
Yep.
First floor, I guess we need to look at too, but.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the third and the.
Okay, so this is third floor. Third floor is where, through some research from Michael Clean, who is a wonderful guy and an awesome
Great fella.
author. Great guy. He can tell us that the most unruly residents of the psychiatric hospital lived up here. Anybody that was heavily medicated, needed a straitjacket, anything like that, would have been up here. So if you've ever been in a nursing home at night, it would have sounded a lot like that. It was probably constant noise. I had my very first experience in this building here. So if you look, right there is the outside of the original building. They literally
Right here?
built a block. Look up at the ceiling, see the brick?
Yeah.
And the limestone?
Okay.
That's the outside of the original building.
Wow.
So they just cut off the stairwell and put on this big block.
Now, what is down here? Or, I mean, what are?
This is all patient rooms. It would have been, I mean, you can see some of the damage that happened from the tornadoes, from the 90s, from the vandals. It's more apparent up here for some reason. You found the only piece of furniture that's original to the building left.
That's what I was sitting here looking at here.
This is probably original from the 50s. It's the only piece of furniture we have left that was in the building. It's incredibly heavy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sit on it if I were you because, oh no, don't break it.
I'm sorry.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It
Stop.
is that big. I wouldn't sit on it unless you've had your tetanus shot. It's a little rusty. But it does work. You can crank the head up, crank the feet up. It's what they would have been in. It's probably from the end of the poor farm, beginning of the psychiatric hospital.
And y'all still got folks here.
Yep, we got a puck on every floor. IR puck.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, so this is the bathroom for this floor.
Why would there be a lattice panel here?
It's from the haunted house home.
Oh.
The wall crumbled. Actually, the wall crumbled on my husband. Yeah. Anyway, so that was the only bathroom, but this room, this floor has 2 shower rooms. And I really think the reason for that, and this is just me guessing, but if the more unruly people were kept up here, they would have had more rooms up here to deal with people. Does that make sense? You would have needed a larger shower room to take care of somebody that was unruly.
Here's another room back here too.
You can get all the way down this hall without actually being in the hallway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I just saw it cut back here.
I mean, this is a fun game. See you later. Ouch.
Ouch. Oh, I see why she said ouch. Very.
Yeah, it's a tiny little passage. Oh, the wheelchair.
Oh, wait.
That's Robin's wheelchair.
Now, is that the docks?
Huh?
Docks over there?
Robin, I don't know where it came from.
What's that?
The wheelchair, I don't know.
Oh,
Robin bought it.
he bought it? It wasn't here?
No,
So what level are we on now? 3?
3.
So we are at the top and we move quickly through it now.
Because it's stinking hot.
Why don't we get back down to 1 and
I can show you my favorite spot in the building on our way down. When Robin bought the building, he had to replace the roof on the old side. And the access to the roof is just on the other side of this fire door. So there was a ladder diagonal across the hall. They had to come down. And one of the guys came down and said, well, I think it was Robin's son. I don't know if it was Robin's son. Somebody came down and said, hey, somebody just walked through that door. Where's that door go? And Robin says, what are you talking about? So, I mean, if you open it, oh, there's a dead mouse there. That's right. It doesn't go anywhere. There's nowhere to go.
What's the no right turn?
No right turn. So, more than one person saw someone turning and going into that door, and I got to thinking about it. If you look at where it is, this is the outside of the old building. This would have been stairwell, right? Somebody's trying to go downstairs. This would have been the way down. This is my favorite place to be in the building, because this is original from 1916. So every time I touch this banister, I'm touching something that everybody that ever lived here touched.
Right.
And I think that's totally amazing.
I agree.
It's just, I can
Unreal.
spend all day up here. It's great.
Well, we're fixing to go back down. I think we're on the between the second, third floor. We're fixing to go back down, and we're gonna. I think they actually got the cable pulled for us. We don't even have to do that, which is amazing to me. And Michelle just took us to the second, third floor, and we're ready to get in here and find out what's going on in this place. And there's been a lot of people in here, and they found a lot of things. That's what Southern Paranormal wants to do. Thank you so much for bringing us through here, and
You're so welcome.
you're welcome to join us here.
Thank you.